Yeah, I miss those retro cars. I want to ride a retro car. And the way that y'all dressed back then in the 80s,
Some of my
70s.
colleagues still dress the same way, buddy. So
But how? Where?
they actually have some of the same clothes that they wore in the 80s and they
No,
just keep wearing. Yeah.
no
Yeah,
way.
academics are notoriously bad dressers.
Oh, pff. What were you doing when you were turning 2 years old?
I was trying to figure out who I might be when I was 24 or 26 or 30. And I was never thinking what I might be when I was 63. It never occurred to me that I should figure that out or I should know. And now I finally feel like I'm at a place where I have the luxury to look back and go, wait a minute, I did do some stuff. Maybe not everything that I had in mind when I was 22 years old, but it adds up. And I would say give yourself some slack a little bit. Go easy on yourself a little bit, maybe. Do you ever hear about actors who come from affluence?
What's it called? Nepotism? Why do affluent actors give up so easily? Because they, I don't want to make any rash judgments, but they probably have it. And in order to be an actor, I've heard, and I've actually sort of been firsthand, like you gotta love it. You gotta want it so bad to the point
Yeah,
where it hurts when you don't get it. How would you say you manage your finances to a way where you don't have to worry about money if you don't?
that's brilliant. That's such a brilliant question. So honestly, I have only really experienced affluence where I felt that I was in a financially comfortable place for maybe 4 weeks. And you're going to say, what? Okay, so my mother passed away about 4 weeks ago,
Oh, oh.
which is all right. It's okay. I mean, she was 90. She turned 90, and then. But up until that point, when I inherited a little bit of money that she had from my father, um, I've sort of been feeling like I was struggling financially my entire life. And part of that's my fault. I just wasn't a good manager. Um, a couple of divorces will do that to you and stuff like that. So, you're thinking about, yeah, I mean, you're doing it. You're going to be an actor. Do you ever think about wanting to be a parent too?
Yeah, of course. I worked at a summer camp over the summer.
Oh,
That was
forget it.
like the last straw where I was just like, do I want to be a parent? Yeah, I do. But I'm not trying to bring my kids in on the life that I have right now. Because I mean, given I am still 22, people get pregnant at 17. I can't fathom how that works. 16 even too. Can you even remember when you were 16? Because I can't.
I can, but I don't like to.
It's crazy how that can happen. Like 22, I still don't feel stable enough to have my own kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, parenting is something that I want to do. I do have a question for you.
Fire away.
Okay. How do you get married?
Yeah.
Like the concept marriage, like it. When did you first get married? Because you said you did have a couple divorces, right?
Yeah. So I got married the first time when I was only 24.
Oh, okay. So you're like my age. You could be you'd have been my friend if I was 22.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Yeah. We might have known each other in school, in acting school or whatever. So that's interesting. I was only 24. And I was, looking at a career in acting. Had been accepted into an MFA acting program, and I was on my way to that. I had been seeing this wonderful woman for about 4 years during college, and she wasn't really into waiting any longer. She thought, and she had family who had all married young and had been very successful and had wonderful, successful marriages on top of that. And so I had a lot of good role models. I had some bad ones. I had some really bad ones, but I had some good ones as well. And so I just decided, you know what? Why not? I wanted to ask you how important material wealth is to you. And what do you think are the material things that matter the most to you?
It's not a good thing because you need money for almost everything nowadays. So if you don't have it, it's harder to accomplish the things. But I feel like you're at an advantage almost because the people that already have it, they won't have the struggle of not having it, and the people that don't have it, they can relate to both sides of the spectrum, if you will, like not having it coming from rags to riches, and riches from coming from rags. And it builds you a bigger character than someone that already has it. So
yeah. Maybe it's you and maybe it's your friends and other. When you think about our generation, what's the thing that makes you angriest about us? What is it that we should have done that we didn't do that you guys are now saddled with?
is there a textbook answer for this?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking, really.
What am I mad about your generation? I guess coming up with technology sooner. I mean, I think technology is a sin, if I'm gonna be completely honest. I stay on my phone some days, and then other days I don't stay on it, and then other days I stay on it the whole day, which is, I don't know. Being on your phone is so unproductive.
Yes.
But it's also so productive at the same time. So it can go either way. So I guess technology I don't know, if technology came out when you were my age, this world would be far more futuristic than it is
yes.
now.
So on the other hand, is there anything about our generation that you're nostalgic about, that you wish maybe your life was a little bit more like ours?
Yeah, I miss those retro cars. I want to ride a retro car. And the way that y'all dressed back then, in the 80s.
Some of my colleagues still dress the same way, buddy. So
But how? Where?
They actually have some of the same clothes that they wore in the 80s, and they just keep wearing. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, academics are notoriously bad dressers.
Oh.
So is there anything that people of your generation would like people of my generation to understand about you? I have to admit that when my colleagues and I get together, somebody always goes, kids today, or something, students today are just not as well prepared, or they're not this, but I feel like you guys are up against a lot of stuff that we don't recognize. And maybe, there's something that we should understand that we just don't get it. What do you think that is?
From being a non-biased person in this, I'd say what people from your generation should get is, I guess, just, I don't know, maybe you should have led us more in this direction, given what you said is like, you haven't seen this type of stuff before, and it's difficult to judge something you've never seen. So based off your intuition and what you've seen that hasn't had to do with this but can be applied to it, if you will, I guess put us in a direction that doesn't get us blown up, or some way we can understand,
I think that's really interesting what you just said. It makes me think that one of the blind spots of my generation for your generation is that we don't realize how much insecurity we've created that you guys are that you have to absorb.
Yeah, and it's crazy thinking the next generation is going to be like, Gen Z, what do you
Yeah. If I were to say something about your generation that I admire most and hadn't thought about it, it may be that you guys, there's no bullshit with you guys. Do you know what I mean? You put it out there. You don't cover when you're upset. You don't cover when you're joyful. You don't cover it when you're sick or worried, and you tell it the way it is. And I really appreciate that, because the generation above me never did that. I think we didn't do. No, my kids are better at it, but you guys are great.
We got loud mouths. If I had to say something about your generation, it's that you brought us to where we are today, and that's not at all meant to be a bad thing. It's a good thing. You brought us to where we are today. you've shined light on us. Like, maybe we're not in like the best situation today, but we wouldn't be here without you guys, and it could have been a lot worse.